Midlife can be one of the loneliest seasons of a woman's life, and almost no one ever talks about it. Not because we don't need people, but because somewhere along the way we learned how to carry everything ourselves. We handle the transitions, we handle the heartbreak, we handle the uncertainty. We even tell ourselves we're fine even when we're exhausted from trying to hold it all together. But what if strength was never meant to look like doing life alone? What if the very thing your heart is craving most is exactly what God designed you for from the very beginning? Community. Hi, friends. Welcome to Taking Back Happy. I'm your host, Gina Granville, God's girl, retired homeschool mom of 4, empty nester, GG, essential oil and exercise enthusiast, Christian life coach, and someone who is taking back her own happy. I know many of you feel exactly like me in these midlife years, a sort of loss of direction, but you feel way too young and vibrant to sit on the porch and just watch life go by. What if you could reclaim your life, finding deep joy, renewed passion and purpose, and plenty of adventure in these midlife years? If you are ready to find your spark again, throw on those walking shoes, pop in those earbuds, and join me right here as we take back happy together. Hey, my Taking Back Happy friends, have you signed up for the workshop? The Taking Back Happy workshop actually starts tonight. We will be focusing on how you can take back your happy in this very season of life, rediscovering God's joy, renewing your passion, your purpose, finding new adventures, all the practical tools and inspiration you need to help you get that spark in your life again. This workshop's going to challenge old mindsets, build your confidence, and help you find clarity as you step into your what's next. And the cool thing is we do it together. It's always better together, always better in community. So tonight we're going to be talking about who am I now? The following week, rewrite your story. Week after that, what if there's no wrong answer? And the last week, we'll be focusing on it's more than a motto, it's actually a decision. So it's going to be 4 different weeks on Monday evenings at 7 p.m. It's going to be a live workshop on Zoom. If you can't be there, there's going to be replays available. It's $34.97 for the 4-week workshop, and I would love to have you there. It'll be so much fun to do it together. Message me today and I'll get you signed up and you can be part of this amazing community. It's only 4 weeks long, but I think it'll be something we can all value and take forward with us. So let's get real for a minute. Sometimes there's a quiet loneliness that no one really talks about. And especially like in midlife, it can feel especially isolating. Like your kids are either grown up or they're growing up and they're leaving and doing their own thing. Sometimes you've been through a divorce or a loss or life transitions. Maybe you're taking care of elderly parents. Your friendships shift, depending on like whether you've been working with them or whether they were friends of, when you were like when your kids were young and you had the same friends or just different things like that. Sometimes you're feeling like no one really sees what you're walking through. Many women, of course, try to just handle it alone. But we weren't really designed for that. We weren't designed for isolation. We were actually created for connection. Healing, growth, and even rediscovering your spark happen faster and even deeper when you're in community. In Ecclesiastes 4:9 and 10, it says, 2 are better than 1. If either one of them falls down, one can help the other up. I love that. I love that image of a woman standing beside a woman and helping each other up. Community doesn't just feel good. It doesn't feel like, a big party or a big event. It actually can change us. Let's look at what happens when women walk together. So the first reason we need community is community encourages you. We can actually speak life into each other. Some days you forget who you are. Some days you forget like your strength, your worth, your purpose. Encouragement reminds you like what's still alive on the inside. Even if you don't feel it, when you're around someone who's encouraging you, it brings out that spark in you. Other women can see what you can't see yourself. How many times have you been with a friend or with someone you know, and you're like, wow, she is just really amazing. She has this gift or she has this thing that she does, and she does not see it at all, but you see it ever so clearly. Encouragement restores confidence, it restores hope. Sometimes borrowed belief even can carry until you can have your own belief. I can't tell you how many times where I've felt, like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And one of my friends has come alongside of me and encouraged me. And I kind of borrow her belief. I'm like, wow, if she believes I can do it, maybe I can do it. Sometimes we just need that friend to remind us that we're not failing, we're growing. We're not failing, we're just learning. We're not failing, we are just taking the next step. Someone, just celebrating our small wins with us. I have my friend Luana is really good at doing that. She'll say, oh, you started a podcast, go get some ice cream, or, whatever the case may be, something that just celebrates those small wins along the way. Even having someone say, I see you. I see that you're trying. It may not be what you expect it to be. Life may not be looking like what you thought life was going to look like, but you got this, girl. Keep going. I feel like I've always been an encourager. When my kids were young and I was a homeschool mom, every year I would send out an email in January and encourage all the homeschool moms. And I'd be like, you got this, girl. Keep going. Because really, January was like the worst time of the year. At the beginning of the year, you're all excited and you're like, yeah, this is going to be amazing. And then you go through the holidays and the holidays are fun. You're doing all the fun things. And then you hit January and it's a long time until spring break. And reality's sinking in and it's not looking the way you thought it was going to look. It's always tougher than what you think it's going to be. And so it's so nice to have someone come alongside of you and encourage you. And that's where community comes in. And whether that's like a homeschool community, most of us probably aren't in that anymore. If we are, we're getting toward the tail end of it. But a community through our church, a community, I'm in like a wellness community. You could be in a book club, whatever your community is. 1 Thessalonians 5:11 says, therefore, encourage one another and build each other up. So that tells us that encouragement is more than just kind words. Sometimes we need someone to stand with us. And that brings me to my second point. Community supports you. You don't have to carry it alone. We know that life gets heavy. It gets like emotionally heavy, spiritually heavy, just even like practically heavy, day-to-day things like paying the bills and especially if you're a single person, I have all these weird things that happen at the house that I don't know how to fix. And that's heavy. It seems silly, but it's heavy. So support means someone helps you carry that weight. Even if, they don't come to your house and fix the outlet or whatever, they still can encourage you and tell you where you can get the help with it and that sort of thing. Some of the things that we can focus on are like emotional support, someone who really listens to us and they're not trying to fix us. They're not like, oh, you just need to do A, B, and C, but they're really just being a good listening ear. That is so invaluable. And like, just sitting with you. Sometimes just having that person sit with you. If you've ever gone through a loss and, you've lost a family member you love, a lot of times there's not words. There's nothing that someone can say that's going to make it all right. But them sitting with you, showing up for you, being with you during that time, that makes all the difference in the world. And of course, spiritual support. So prayer and faith and just even reminding you who God is and how he's been with you in the past and how he's with you right now. Because sometimes we forget that when we're in the middle of something really tough. So a lot of times my go-to is to fix something, oh, I want to help this person. I don't want them to have to go through this pain. But, a lot of times I can't do that. That's not realistic. The realistic thing is I can listen to them. I can be that listening ear for them. I can be that support where I'm sitting with them. I can hold space for them to be upset and be mad and not judge them when they do that. The truth of the matter is being in community and having support doesn't remove the struggle. It just gives us like the strength to walk through it. If you think about it, strength multiplies when it's shared. I think about that game, the tug of war game, and how if it was just me and like a guy on the other end, he would be able to pull me over that line every single time. But it, if it was me and a bunch of my girlfriends and a guy on the other end, guess what? There's going to be a battle. We're going to be tugging over that line. And I kind of have a hint that us girls are going to pull him right over that line. Something beautiful happens when women walk together long enough, when they hang out together long enough, when they spend time together long enough. And that brings me to my third point. Community inspires you. You really begin to see what's possible when you're in community. It's really pretty cool because, like, when you watch other women grow, it really gives you permission to grow. When you see someone else have courage in the midst of something horrible or something hard, it really awakens your own courage. You're like, wow, if they went through all that and they could do that, I think I can do this too. It's like if you see them healing and coming back to life after a divorce or a loss of a family member or a hardship, it shows you that healing really is possible on the other side. Inspiration can expand your vision for your life. It can break those mindsets and those lies that say, it's too late, or, ooh, you messed that up, or there's no coming back from that one. It really helps you dream again because when you're inspired by someone else and you're like, wow, that is really neat what's happening in her life, it inspires you to dream again. It inspires you to be curious and try new things. I've been so inspired by Dr. Edie and a lot of the life coaches in life mentoring school. I've learned so many things. I've gone through their coaching program. I've been in community with these wonderful coaches who are doing the same thing I'm doing. And it's just so inspiring. And in fact, one of the reasons that I'm offering the Taking Back Happy workshop is because I've been in this community and I've learned these things. And I was like, this is so cool. I got to share them with someone else. I'm like the homeschool geek, right? And that's what I did when my kids were little. I would learn something new and then I'd be like, ooh, that was so neat. I got to share this. I got to learn this thing so I can teach someone else. And that's kind of like what I'm doing with this. Not only to teach and to inspire, but also to bring that community together. It gets me excited when I think about, a small group coming together on Zoom and we're learning these things together and we're like talking about them and sharing how we're going to use them in our own life. And that gets me super excited. Proverbs 27:17 says, iron sharpens iron. So basically, the people that you're around are the people that are going to, you're going to kind of raise up to the people that you're around, right? So if you're in a community of people that, they love Jesus and they want to help other women and they want to be encouragers and they want to be supporters and they want to inspire, then that's what you're going to get, right? You put in what you want to get out. So community doesn't just like make you comfortable or just feel sweet. It really calls you higher. So here's my question for you today. Where is your community? Who encourages you? Who supports you? Who inspires you? And where can you become that for someone else? So, you don't have to have a huge community. You just have to have a real community, an authentic community. And if you've been listening to this podcast and just this whole thought of taking back happy, then hop into the Facebook group. Hook up with other women who are in the same point in life or wanting to, be an encouragement to someone else and support someone else and inspire someone else. And it's such a cool way to do it together. So, my Taking Back Happy friends, maybe the truth really is that the parts of you that feel tired or quiet or even disconnected right now, maybe you're not broken, there's nothing wrong. It's just that they're waiting to be met. They're waiting to be seen and held and heard and just reminded that they still belong somewhere. One cool thing to think about is God in his kindness often sends people before he sends answers or what we think would be an answer to something. Maybe we're asking for something or there's some kind of prayer we've had. And usually he'll send people. He sends voices that encourage. He sends hearts that understand. He sends even hands that help, when we have things that literally need help, hands that steady us when life feels unsteady, hearts that, hold us close. Community is one of the ways that he restores us, not all at once, but slowly, like gently, just, beautifully, like together. And if your heart has been craving that real connection, that real encouragement, that real growth, then that is exactly why I created that Taking Back Happy workshop. Consider hopping into that. Just hit me up today and I'll give you all the details on it. But it's really not about fixing yourself. It's not about having to attend a workshop or not attend a workshop. It's really about just kind of finding yourself again in a space where you feel supported and seen and heard and loved and, where you're walking alongside other women who are rediscovering their joy too. It's a place you don't have to pretend you're fine. It's a place you don't have to have it all figured out, right? It's a place where, I don't know, growth feels possible and maybe dreams could be dreamed again. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there, right? If your spirit's been whispering, yeah, that's something I really want, then this is your time. If you've been looking for someone to come alongside you and say, hey, you need to be in community, I'm that girl that's telling you that today. Because sometimes taking back happy begins with one brave step toward connection. Look for ways to encourage, support, and inspire as we take back our happy together. If this podcast blessed and encouraged you today, I'd love for you to share it with your friends. You can take a screenshot and share it in your stories, but make sure you tag me at Gina Granville so we can connect. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure you join my Taking Back Happy Facebook group. I'll meet you back here soon, and we'll continue taking back happy together.